Seerah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, part 12. So the Abdul Mutallib, now he sees the dream, he sees the signs, he knows exactly where to dig, he starts digging. The thuds of the pickaxes on the ground attract attention, people come and they see this as a sacrilegious action, and they cannot tolerate Abdul Muttalib digging in this most revered and respected place. So they gather around and they start shouting at him, stop, you've got to stop, you can't do this. And more people collect, and then a huge crowd is collected round, and people want to stop him. Abdul Muttalib is frantically and excitedly digging, and then he tells his one and only son Harith, he said, put down your pickaxe and stand guard over me, or keep your pickaxe in your hand and stand guard over me, make sure none of these people come close to me. So the people, because of Harith then standing as a bodyguard, they couldn't come close, but they kept on shouting, stop. And Abdul Muttalib kept on digging frantically, because he knew that this is a place and he knew that I have been divinely inspired. He kept on digging, the people kept on shouting, and Haris kept on defending, until eventually Abdul Muttalib hit the top of the Zamzam well, and he uncovered the treasures. And when he did that, he knew that he's hit the spot, and he shouted Allahu Akbar. And when he shouted Allahu Akbar, the people stopped shouting at him and protesting, and now they were dumbfounded. Why is he saying Allahu Akbar? And then when the treasures he started pulling out, and then eventually the water started coming out, everyone shouted Allahu Akbar, and the valleys and the mountains of Makkah echoed with the takbir Allahu Akbar. And now Abdul Muttalib, as he uncovers the well, he takes out the treasures. And the treasures from the Zamzam well were immense. They were riches. It is said that there were 2 deers or gazelles made of gold that had been placed in there. And there were many other riches. So imagine a whole deer made from gold. That's so many ounces of gold, and that's a lot of treasure. And he uncovered some other relics, stuff that belonged to Ibrahim alayhi salam, and some more gold and silver, and all sorts of things came out. And then the Zamzam well came out, the Zamzam water came out, and so a dispute broke out. Now the people at first, they were opposing Abdul Muttalib. They said, you can't dig here. And now when everything comes out, and they realize that Zamzam, the well that they had heard about from their forefathers, has now been discovered. So they were so excited, but also they were greedy for the treasures that have come out. They said that now we've all have a share in all of this. So Abdul Muttalib said, no, I found it, I've been divinely guided, it belongs to me. And so they decided to settle the matter, they decided to draw lots. Now in those days, there was a way of doing this. They used to get arrows, and then they used to take them inside the Kaaba and place them in front of the idol who was in the center, the biggest idol, the oldest idol of Makkah, Hubul. And then they would draw out the arrows, and whichever arrow came out, however it was, they'd have names written on. And when they draw out the arrows, then they would make their decisions like this, and they would say that the answer has come from Hubul. So when there was a dispute, they said that the well belongs to us and the treasures belong to us. Abdul Muttalib said, never, they are mine. And so it got a bit hot, so they decided that, okay, let's refer to Hubul. So they drew lots, and they said, Abdul Muttalib, because he was a very wise and intelligent man, he said, okay, let's not just split it between myself and yourselves, but let's split it 3 ways. Either the treasures go to myself, or they go to you, or they go to the Kaaba, because they come from the Kaaba, so they go to the Kaaba. The treasure will be put back in the Kaaba. So the people agreed, and so they went into the Kaaba, they got the arrows, they wrote their names on one they wrote the Kaaba, on some arrows they wrote Abdul Muttalib, some they wrote the names of the tribes, and then lots were drawn, and lo and behold, Allahu Akbar, the divine decree of Allah, none of the arrows came out with the names of the people of the tribes. the arrows either came out for Abdul Mutallib or for the Kaaba. So each item was bought and then they drew lots, and each time the winner was either the Kaaba or Abdul Muttalib. The tribes, their names were never drawn, and so the treasures were distributed between the Kaaba and Abdul Muttalib.